Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I am back at it again with another video. With another shenanigans, with another story. This one kind of like took me a while to record because I've just been so up and down. But I did promise on my previous video that I'll talk about work. But before we get into it, I would like to welcome you back to the channel, to those who've been here, to those who have subscribed, to those who have been showing me love. You guys have just made this so fun for me. Like when I'm going through the comment section and just reading through everything, you guys are making this fun for me and I am starting to actually enjoy it. Okay, so thank you to everybody who has just been showing me love. Okay, and to those who are new to this channel, we welcome you to the shenanigans. Here so far we've been telling stories, endless and endless and endless of stories. So today we are back at it again. Okay, we're doing part 3 of this story time. We've been talking about my move, finding a house, and now we are going to talk about work life. We'll find that sound effect so I don't have to do my own sound effects, but we are going to talk about work. Working in Malawi has been very interesting. Okay, prior to that I was working from home. I do a lot of digital work, so most of it is me on my computer and stuff, right? But then when I moved here, I had to adapt into an office environment. So to those who were here in part 1, I did say that I just got here and then like 3 days later on Monday I was in the office. So I had to adapt real quick. Okay, real quick. All right, because oh child, I'm someone who's very to myself. I'm very to myself. I don't like a lot of people. I don't, like I don't like being in crowded spaces. Like my social bundle runs out so fast, like 1 hour, 2 hours, I'm done. But then now I was in like I was in one room with so many people and had to be there for hours, adapting to the energies, how people talk to one another, how people treat each other, how to be a part of the team, the mess and the this and that. It was a lot. It was so much for me that it was, whew. Work life was also overwhelming because, like, again, this journey has just been me adapting to so many new things that I wasn't prepared for. Nobody prepares you for this. Nobody warns you about this. So I had to just kind of like move. I had to learn my work fast because it's a very delicate work. So you always have to be careful. I had to learn from my mistakes, the mess up, the coming back and just doing better and just trying not to let anybody down. But honestly, in this journey, you're just gonna let some people down. You just have to find a way to just kind of like get back up, okay? And it has to be fast because anybody got time for you. Anybody got time for you. It's always like move, 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 move. Anyways, so working in the corporate world is also hard. I didn't know that. There is not a lot of females in the corporate world. We wish there was. There is not. It's a few people. Like at my workplace, it's just like 3 girls in the room. Okay. And it's hard being in a very male dominated area. It's hard for your voice or your ideas to be heard. It's hard to express how you feel without someone manipulating or weaponizing what you say as like, oh, you're being emotional or this and that and that. You always have to be very careful. And for me, my biggest struggle has been the weaponizing of words, right? When people constantly just wait till you say something so that they can later weaponize it. Like we could be working on a project. If it goes good, people want shared glory. But if it doesn't, they will weaponize whatever thing you said, okay, whatever you did to like, oh, you know, you know. My work life has its pros and cons because on the other hand, I am doing something that I really enjoy and I really, 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 really love, and that's something I'm grateful to God for. I am grateful to God for the opportunity that I have where I'm standing, and to just be able to be creative, to be in a creative world. So that I really, really enjoy, and it just makes me happy. When you come in and ideas are flowing, and sometimes you see that your ideas are coming to life, and people are kind of like vibing to it and relating to it. When you have to do strategies and this and that, I love what I do, and I'm really good at it. Okay. I'm very good at what I do. So what I do actually does make me happy and I enjoy it. I feel like what I don't enjoy is when you have to fight all these battles, but that's part of life. It's like, get used to it. Hold on, need to drink water. Anyway, back from the water break. What was I saying? Yeah, I was saying that when you have to fight all these battles in work environments, it's really hard. I wish growing up I was taught about work life. I feel like as a female, all I was ever taught was how to be a good female, how to be a good woman. If you don't do this right, a man's gonna leave you, and this and that and that and that. All of it, all my trainings, I feel like most of my life trainings were centered around marriage, not the in between. And I feel like the in between is where a lot of young people are struggling with. They are fighting with, how do I deal with work and stress and sexual harassment and the sniding comments, someone stepping on your dreams, taking your ideas and taking your credit. How do I deal with that and still come back home and still be a good person and still be a good partner, still be a good friend, still be a good Christian, still be a good girlfriend? It's the in between is where like nobody wanted to talk about growing up, and I feel like it's where I feel like a lot of people are struggling with, including myself. I struggled with the in between. I'm still struggling with certain things, but I feel like I've gotten a hand of other things, so nobody really tells you about that. And when you go into the work life, it's confusing, and I feel like for a while I was confused, and I worked at this place for a while. I didn't feel like I had my voice. I didn't feel like I could speak up on things I didn't like. I didn't think I had the right to do certain things. It was almost like crippling to be free. So now is when I feel like I've found my voice, where I'm believing in myself. I am not afraid of people just trying to fight against me. I'm just doing what I believe in, and what I believe is gonna work. Whether it works out or not, that's for me to be accounted for. That's something I'm gonna take with. But I was always afraid, oh, what if I do this and it doesn't work? It's almost like with the YouTube channel, oh, I'm gonna start it when I get a good phone or a good camera, or I'm gonna start it when my face is not breaking out, or I'm gonna start it when I move to this place and I have this perfect background. And then I wasn't doing it, and I saw that I wasn't doing that with so many areas of my life. So snapping out of that was very beneficial for me as a person, as a human being, to just be liberated in my own ideas and what I want to do and what I want to achieve. Okay, so work life is not for the faint-hearted, because I feel like also one of my other struggles is that it's easier when we're fighting competitors. It's harder for me when I feel like there's so many internal battles, like your own people are fighting you, instead of you fighting other people outside of your work. And you have internal people trying to step on your ideas, always pessimistic when you present something, and you only have a few people that are like rooting for you. And I would say, look at the one that's rooting for you. Just look at them, because if you look at everybody else applauds when it's all said and done, okay? And most of the times they want to take credit for it. So that's another struggle. It's not for the faint-hearted. Work life is not for the faint-hearted. The corporate world is not for the faint-hearted. It's just not. It's really, really not. But it's also a blessing to be working. It's most of the times my work makes me feel empowered. I prayed for this job. I cried to God for this job. I was like, Lord, I need a job. There was a time I was jobless and I did no purpose. Look, I am someone who's used to hustling, okay? I'm used to working. And when I find myself idle, mm, it doesn't work. It kills me. And I feel like, oh, there was a long time I wasn't working. And that just kind of like it was killing me. When I like the feeling of providing for myself. That's just how I grew up, okay? It has a lot to do with the way I grew up, but I have a sense of pride when I'm able to provide for myself, when I can do the things that I want to do. And when I don't have that, I don't feel good at all. At all. So my work life has had its pros and cons, where I'm like, I'm really happy I'm creative and I'm working in this space and whatnot. And then the other part is like I'm tired also, like I'm drained when there's just so much things happening. And I feel like also one of the other things I've struggled with being in a corporate setting is that when you have work anger, where you're like frustrated and angry at people you're working with, or outside you were supposed to work with, how to let that go when you come home. Okay, it's like you have to let it go because you can't carry that energy into your house, into your conversation. Sometimes I just be so mad at people that I'm taking it out on people I love. Well, I just don't want to talk to them. Just like, I'm tired, leave me alone. Okay, so to leave that at work and come home and just forget about it and carry it on again the next day or whatever is hard. And I feel like a lot of people are still struggling with that, like the work anger. How do you leave it at work and then come home and then leave it? Sometimes you work with friends and you're angry at this friend on work situations. How do you live it and say, oh, I must still love this person outside of work? I still struggle with that too because it's hard. So life is not easy, but it's good. And God has been good and God has been faithful. So you have to grab whatever it is you can grab onto, hold on to, and run with it. Because hey, nobody's handing out sweets out here. Because especially in Malawi, nobody's handing sweets. Nobody is handing sweets. Okay. And if some of you have your work experiences, any encouragement you might have for this corporate babes, okay, drop them down in the comment below. Anybody wants to share their story being in a corporate setting, share. Let's talk about it. I feel like we need to be talking about it because where else are we going to talk about it? Okay, work is hard, and then we're also living in Malawi. Oh, I love my country though. I love I love us. I love it, but the underpaying issues. You work a lot, you get underpaid, but the economy is also bad. So it's like the kwacha keeps going down, but the pays are staying the same. Like not long ago, my landlady, she told us that we have to start paying electricity by ourselves. At first, it was all bills inclusive, but now she's like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. So now we are watching everything. Like, we are watching. Like when you put things on the stove, you're like, it's too long. Mm-mm, mm-mm. The water has boiled. It's enough. Like it was cold this other day. I did not want to turn on my heater. I was like, girl, just add an extra blanket because. And your girl needs a heater. Shame. She needs her heater on because when she's cold, she just be getting sick. Yeah. So it was like, oh, girl, you better switch that heater off and get an extra blanket. You're gonna be alright. But all in all, God has been good. I feel like this has been a good year for me, honestly, compared to last year. My friend was home this other day, and she was like, last year was just God's way of saying Busamabuse. And I couldn't agree more. Last year was embarrassing, humbling, teaching moments, but hey, we thank God. We thank God. So, thank you guys for staying here and allowing me to vent, to talk, to, let it out. If you have watched this far, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for listening. May you please like, share, subscribe, comment. It really does help with the algorithm. I'm like a new YouTuber. I have like 20 subscribers. So this liking thing will kind of like really, really help me. And if you can share to your friends, share, just, and subscribe. Like if you have watched part 1, part 2, part 3, you're committed now. I mean, come on. No. But anyways, thank you so much. Really, thank you again for being here. Thank you guys for staying with me, for sitting with me, for having a talk with me. I will see you guys in the next video. The next video is going to be about dating in Malawi. That one time I dated a bare minimum. You know the bare minimum guy. You know that one guy you lowered your standards for and still they embarrassed you. Anyways, guys, I will see you again in the next video. And thank you so much for staying with me and working with me. Have a great night and bye.